Yo, what is up, everyone? So we got the body and primer, the interiors and primer. Now what I'm gonna go and do is remount the overlays and the side skirts and everything and get the hardware fitted. So drill all the holes for it. I'm gonna use nuts on the back side and then screws on the front instead of the Ridox body kit comes with rivets. And I don't think those look that good, so we're gonna up the hardware game on those for sure. So yeah, let's get going. Check it out, guys. So everything's just a rough fit right now. Nothing's like fully bolted in. There's just a few bolts holding everything on. Considering that all of this stuff is aftermarket, it's been pretty good right now. See if I can open that up. I don't know if you remember, we had that gap issue a long time ago where the side skirt was hitting and rubbing. It's a little tight right here, but it still has a gap. And the door, we couldn't find a door, so slowly been working at that door. So the door fits now. We have inside door handle, catch, stays open, shuts, overlay fenders, looking good. Got the hatchback on. That's looking good. Oh, tire top. You get the idea. Yeah. You see that? Holy crap. Gap, it's a gas tank. You know, should probably put the fuel door lid in, but we got the cap down here. It's not rubbing. Fender to door gap. So yeah, keep in mind everything's aftermarket, so it doesn't fit quite as nice as OEM does. So considering that, I would say that that is a good victory. Cool. Next I will probably start getting the hardware mounted in these little holes. So take these out and then get the actual hardware mounted. What we're thinking of doing, because the kit comes with rivets, and I think rivets are just going to be too ugly for this car. They just don't, I don't know, they don't look too pretty. So we have some bolts that we're going to use, and then I'm going to attach a nut on the back instead of doing like a nut zert, because there's not enough room because of how small and tight it is to the edge of the panel. And that'll kind of keep it with the original concept, which is the rivet, by upgrading from a rivet to a bolt and a nut on the back side. So that'll be fun getting back here, putting, probably these three will be difficult to put in, because I have to reach in from that section right there, and then on the back, the hole that's right there. So that'll be interesting. But yeah. Pretty excited with how far we've come. Finally feels like a car again, you know? Finally feels like something that it should be. Cool. Alright guys. Alright, so now we need to finish out drilling the holes for the quarter panel overlays. So I'm going to get going on that. The only thing I'm not sure about is the back here. There's a spot there and then a spot up there. But I feel like there should be one right here. If you can see how much that sticks out. Put one there, it sucks it in. So I'm probably going to do that too. Alright, here we go. Okay, let me show you guys what I got going on now. So the plan is, instead of using rivets for the body kit, to use bolts, nuts. So here's the nuts that we're thinking of using. And then here's the bolts that we're thinking of using. These are titanium for dress-up bolts. So these are really, really nice bolts. I don't know if we can focus. There it goes. So really nice titanium hardware. And then instead of using those titanium ones for Fitment, I'm going to use these cheap ones from China. So yeah. And the reason I'm doing that is because instead of using like one of these nutsert type things that are like rubber, these are rubber. Let's see how big the head is. Instead of using a normal type metal one, so there's like a gap. I don't want the gap there on the fender overlay or the quarter panel overlays. These would be ideal, but the problem is, they take you off the stand. So the problem with this type of overlay would be that it doesn't fit. So it would stick out over the lip. And obviously you don't want to see that because it's too big. But this is the size for those bolts. So it's a really small little recessed pocket there. And this unfortunately would stick up and out. And then the problem too would be you would have a little space you know, on the in between, because it gets sandwiched, and then this would stick out a little bit more, and I'm trying to avoid as much of that as possible. Because this is fiberglass, it already has just this tiny seams going around it, you know. Like here's a bigger one, even though, you know, it's not big at all. But I'm trying to keep it to the body as much as possible rather than molding the kit in, because I don't think that would look good. On top of that, 5 years from now, you know, you might get a crack, because the owner really wants to drive the car. So yeah, that's what the game plan is. And then to attach the actual, let's see if I can get this back on. And then to attach the actual nuts behind, I have some really, really strong panel bond glue that I'll use. I know glue probably doesn't sound ideal, but think about it, all you're really doing is having glue that's strong enough to stop it from twisting, and then obviously when the nut's off, it's not going to fall down inside. The panel bond glue that I'll use is very, very strong stuff. It's not like it's holding up anything major, just fiberglass aero kit. So cool. But I thought I'd update you guys on what my thought process is for putting this on instead of using rivets, because I think rivets are ugly. So cool. Alright, quick little update. I forgot to hit record on the camera, unfortunately. But this the overlay on the quarter panel is sticking out right here, just a little bit. And what it ended up being was it was hitting on the inside of the gas door hole cutout. So I just trimmed that back, and now it's like sitting very flush against the panel. There's a tiny, I mean, barely any gap. I think that's just how it's gonna have to be, but I don't know if I had any footage of that, so it's a shame. But it was sticking out like 1/8 of an inch, so I think that's pretty good now. Cool. Okay, I don't remember if I recorded this or not, but here's a sneak peek of what the nuts are gonna look like when they're in. Or the bolt, I mean. I said nuts. Yeah. So I think those will look really good. You just have it resting in there right now. Yeah, there's no markings on them. I don't know if we can get some good light right here. This will focus or not. Focus on something. Yeah, you can kind of see there. So there's no like stamp markings, versus my test bolts here that I'm using that are cheap. They have the markings on them. So just stuff like that. It makes these really, really nice. Cool. So I was really hoping to get these glued up this week, but unfortunately the glue that I want to use, we don't have. So I ordered some, but that's not going to be here till next week. So now I got to decide, should I just post a video, just get a video this week, or wait till next week when the glue comes? Okay. Alright, well, while I'm waiting for this glue to come for those nuts, I'm going to actually go and probably take apart or disassemble more of the door so it's more ready for paint. All of the little extra stuff that's on here. I know, like, this thing is shot. I don't know if I showed that in another video. It's like the wheel in here has been sitting out forever and it's like falling apart. So we're gonna have to get a new one of those. Cool. Alright, so we finally got the glue that I'll be using. Panel bond. There's the part number. There's the work time. But unfortunately my camera tripod like head that this sits on, the camera sits on, busted. So I'm gonna have to get a new one or something. It's gonna make filming a little difficult. Cool. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going behind the panel and sanding it with 80 grit just around the holes, just so the area around the hole is cleaner, so the glue has a better bond to the panel. Or you can kind of see some of the dirt from the backside that came through. So, yeah, that should do. Alright, so let's talk about the plan of attack for this. I'm just going to use a wrench, And then I have this butyl tape that'll kind of hold the nut. I don't know if we can focus. It'll hold the nut onto the wrench so it doesn't fall, so I don't have to worry about that. And now I have two options on how to glue it. I can put glue around like the ring of the nut, or I can go in with my finger and put glue on the inside where each of the hole is, and then I don't have to worry about spreading glue around too much. I don't know. Yeah, so I'm gonna figure this out now. Alright, quick little update. I did the same thing on this side. That tape there, just in case any glue decides to come on the outside. I don't have to fight it to get it off. I can just pull the tape off. Cool. I think what I'm gonna do is put glue on the backside and on the nuts. So, yeah. Alright, unfortunately once I start this I can't move the camera around because my hands are going to be messy, so you're only going to see one side. I don't know. So, here we go. Oh, I wanted to add quick, I also greased up these bolts because I had to hold it in. That way if there's any glue that gets on them, I'll be able to just, you know, unscrew it easy so it's not glued in place. Alright, so the latest issue that I think I figured out how to solve was this hole right here. I couldn't get a nut behind like the other ones because of the fuel door. There's just, it closes up so much room to put it with my hand back there. But I did figure it out. I could actually get my hand crammed in there. I guess it pays to be skinny sometimes. So because of the angle that I'll be at, I don't think I'll be able to thread a bolt in like I was doing with the other ones. So my plan now is I found this bolt and I cut the head off, and then I'm going to use that as like a stud, and then I'm going to slide it in from the back side and then put another nut on top of the stud so it sandwiches together. So that's my current theory. We'll see how that goes. Alright, yeah, got it in. Only tore up my arm a little bit, but should be worth it. Cool. Now let that dry for 4 hours, and then I take the stud out and then let it cure for 24. Cool, guys. Alright, so while this side is curing with this stud, I went through this side, checked all of the nuts. Everything's looking good. Got the bolts in. These are just the temporary bolts and not the titanium ones that we're going to be using. But yeah, everything is looking really good with that. Really happy with how that turned out. I think that's going to look really good once it's painted. Really excited to see it painted now, actually. Cool. Alright, so I got the bolts off. Everything's looking real good. Now I'm gonna put the panels back on the car. Double check its fitment, and that should be it. Alright guys, so I got it bolted up. I went through the holes with a tap just to make sure they're clean. The bolts look really good in there. These are still the fake bolts that I'm having in, not the real titanium ones. Yeah, I think it looks pretty good considering what we started with, so cool. Alright guys, that'll be it for me for this video. Unfortunately, I wish it came out last week, but I got delayed from the glue. Maybe hit that subscribe button, give me that like, really appreciate it. Peace.